Welcome to Montreal Rocks. We're very excited to have with us for the second time Chris Gray. Now, a lot has happened since the last time we spoke with Chris. I mean, it was back September 2011, somewhere around there. Back in the day, we spoke about your origin story, how Kingston, both Jamaica and Ontario, have something to do with your upbringing. We spoke about so many things. So, if you want to find more about Chris's origin story, read that. We don't have to talk about that anymore. We want to talk about the new stuff, what's going on now. So, Chris, welcome to the show.
It's good to be back. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I know. Last time we were talking about your music was starting to reach a lot more people. That was 4.5 years ago. And since then, things have kind of grown exponentially. Even the comments I see from some of your videos, I mean, you have dedicated fans. I think there are people are
Oh
listening to
yeah.
you on repeat all day long. What's been the biggest change over the last 4 years since we last spoke?
So much has changed. I think just the audience has grown and expanded, and I think it's been fun for me to just kind of grow with them and grow the brand and kind of do more, have more fun in the shoots and the music and stuff. But I think at its core too, like I'm still just kind of making the music I want to make, and that's always what drives it.
And I think at the time you were kind of more into production, and now you're more into performing. You really have embraced that performing side of you. How you finding it just being on stage and actually, having your music show up?
Well, I feel like performing the songs is like the completion of the cycle. It's like you have an idea and then you make the idea and produce it and then you kind of put it out in the world. And I feel like the final step of that cycle is to actually be able to perform it. So I'm excited to be able to perform these new songs and kind of complete that cycle and finally, give them to the people.
Okay, if we go back to like the actual building of the songs, you're often said that your songs are like a almost like a story. They're very atmospheric, almost can't talk today. They're cinematic in many ways. When you build these stories into your songs, do you ever find that a fictional story maybe ends up revealing something real about you?
Oh, for sure. I think like a lot of the time, sometimes maybe the specific details are fictional or inspired from elsewhere, but it's often that the core thread line emotion is how I actually feel, and that just kind of comes through, and that's what drives a lot of these stories.
Sure. And now you're performing. You have people in the crowds actually like singing your lyrics back to you. Uh, does that kind of change the way you think about the songs that you wrote alone in a studio now that people are kind of participating in the performance with you?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think I always had that dream of people singing those lyrics, and so I don't know if it's changed. I think I made the songs hoping for that one day, and now I kind of make the songs knowing that'll happen. But I think it kind of hasn't changed my process in that way because I was always hoping that would be the case. But it's for me playing live. One of my favorite parts is definitely hearing my fans sing back to me. Sometimes I like to just let them do a whole section because I think it's the most incredible feeling, like hearing those words I've written sung back to me and knowing each person in that crowd has their own interpretation of that song. It has its own meaning in their life. It's like it's not mine anymore. It's theirs.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the common thing about a lot of musicians, especially those that write their own music, that once they put it out there, the meaning changes from maybe what you thought it was to how they personalize it. And that's a very interesting process to me. Um, how a
Yeah.
song can have so many different meanings and how what I truly believe is there's a lot of talk about AI and how all this fake music is coming out, but I still think that when someone shares a true personal feeling, that it can transcend, even the digital side of you be on a YouTube video, for example, and they can feel it in their soul. And I think that's
Sure.
something that you share. Obviously, from the comments I see, that's what people are feeling.
For sure. Well, and I think it even goes beyond language, which I think is really speaks to that, which is like there are people that don't know a word I'm saying, but they feel it, and vice versa, right? Like so many people listen to music in different languages, and but the core emotion speaks through.
Um, has there been a moment on stage that really stuck with you? Something that happened that really kind of
Hmm.
wowed you?
I mean, I think one of my first shows I was opening for Platinum, and I had no clue what to expect as an opener, and I walked on stage, and I think it was like on the third song, I like missed a word, and then and it was only then that I heard it, the crowd sing it, and I was like, oh, like wait, they know this, I didn't really realize. And I think that moment stuck with me for sure. It was the first, and I just had no clue what to expect. But I think like, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but like every show sticks with me. I think like every time I go up on that stage, um, see you meet the fans, you hear the fans, it always makes an impact on me.
So you have a new album, Paradise Lost. Yeah,
Yes,
got the right side here, behind me.
I love it.
Um, when I think about the phrase Paradise Lost, it goes all the way back to John Milton's poem about losing Eden. And your songs often explore love, heartbreak, even some of the darker emotions. Do you think that many of your songs live in that moment when someone realizes their own paradise is gone?
I think so. I think the songs, you know, every song has its own kind of direction and meaning, but definitely this one. So I actually we quote Paradise Lost in the intro of the album. There's a little speaking part as a reference to it. But in terms of this album, it's really about this love that kind of finds its way in different contexts in different places and really is reborn. And I think that that's kind of where I got this idea from. Is
When you think of Paradise Lost, you think of something starting out amazing, like a paradise. I mean, even listen, I've been married 35 years. It's going on 35 years in August. Um, and you have that honeymoon phase, which is at the beginning. That's paradise. And I'm not saying that I've lost it, but I'm saying uh, relationships are hard, and it's not always a straight
Mhm.
line. And we talked about this the first time we talked about how, uh, if love was an EKG and it was just straight, you'd be dead. It has to have ups and downs.
Of course,
So, maybe Paradise Lost is not a bad thing in a way because when reality hits, if you can deal through those hard times, those ups and downs, you have a very strong relationship. And that's what love is. Love is not perfect. Love is not paradise, but it can be
for sure.
something very enjoyable if you stick with it.
For sure. And I think with my music, I've always been drawn to just passion in kind of various forms. And I'm a very passionate person, and I like my music to represent that. And so with this album, that was really the goal, and kind of trying to describe this love that gets reborn, can in another life or finds its way in various through the cracks kind of thing, but ultimately can't die. And that was the really the concept of this album that I think speaks through.
So, is there a moment in your life where maybe you did lose that paradise? You lost something really cherished or close to you that maybe
Of
you look back.
course, of course. I think like everyone's had, um, things they've lost and things they found, right? And I think that this album really, you know, once you listen right through the end, it really, it's not just losing something; it's finding it again, and kind of realizing that you always find it again. It's never fully lost.
It's a very positive way to look at stuff because some people, you know, they look at their present situation and they get really, uh, they dig themselves into a hole thinking they can never get out. But oftentimes those are momentary feelings and eventually, time heals all wounds eventually. So I think it could even be a call to those that are needing help, that are maybe crying for help, that, maybe if you did lose your paradise, don't worry, it's going to come back. Like you said,
Exactly.
the universe has a way to balancing itself out eventually. And if you have a deep loss or deep grief or deep scars or deep trauma, you know, listen to your music and it'll make you feel better.
For sure. This is only about temporary losing the paradise and finding it again. And yeah, it really speaks to that it never actually is lost. A little spoiler for the album, but that's kind of the thread line of the album is that it's been found right away.
So, I mean, I'm just looking at the picture behind me, and normally you think of a beach and you think of nice sunny, you know,
Yeah,
you're in your bathing suit, you got the sunscreen on, and but I like the visual imagery of what you have, and it kind of goes again with the way that people kind of describe your music as atmospheric and never going to say the second word, but cinematic.
cinematic. There you go.
So, if someone turned your music into a film, what kind of world would it take place in?
Mm. I mean, I try to kind of show what that world would be in my cover art and visuals, and I try to kind of build it myself. I've come kind of from the visual side and always love the visuals. So um, I try to build that. So I think you're looking at it. I definitely with this album I was inspired by some of these island themes, the water, waves, um, but I kind of went into it knowing I don't want this to be a summary kind of sunny album, and making sure that um, the visuals kind of I wanted to get kind of the ruggedness of like an island, like a on a stormy night, compared to just like you said, put on the sunscreen and go to the beach.
Yeah.
So that was definitely the goal. And we actually we went to Puerto Rico to shoot this cover, so we shot it on location, which was really fun for me. A black sand beach in Puerto Rico. We had the whole crew out there, and I spent the day in the water.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's awesome. Anyway, what this is like yet another era of your music. It keeps evolving, keep changing. When people look back at this period, this album, years from now, what do you hope they're going to feel when they listen to it?
Mm. I hope that they feel that it was thought through front to back. I think I've always liked albums that feel intentional, and this is definitely an intentional album that I've put a lot of thought into it as a singular listen, and an experience. So I hope that people feel that and that comes across.
And you're coming to Montreal, which
Yes, I
is
am.
great. Have you been to Montreal
I
before?
hope to see you there.
I don't think you have performed in Montreal, have you?
I have
Yeah,
not. No, this is my first time performing in Montreal.
that's what I thought. I did the
I
research, but I
think
could
we
not.
just sold out. So Montreal's showing up. I think Montreal just showed up, sold out a couple days ago.
It's a great venue. It's a great place where people like there isn't a bad seat in the house, so everybody will get a good view, be able to, really get into it and, obviously sing their little hearts out, their lungs off. So that'll be great. Sold out. That's
I'm
great
excited.
news.
I've
What
heard
is
I've heard the Montreal crowds are some of the best, so I have to come see for
It's
myself.
that French joie de vivre that we have that apparently is
Yes.
pretty intense. Of course, all you have to do is just mention the Habs, like the Montreal Canadiens, and you'll get a big cheer.
I
Um,
don't know, but as a Torontonian, I don't know if I can do that. I don't
yeah,
know if I can do that
it's
one.
it's a it's a healthy rivalry, so it's all good. But yeah,
For
no, you're
sure.
gonna enjoy it, and there's a lot to do in Montreal. It's a very epic
That's a
city. I
beautiful
love
city.
Toronto. I think there is that rivalry, Montreal-Toronto. I don't think it has to be. A lot of my musician friends are from Toronto. I love visiting Toronto. There's so much to do, but I think you'll also equally find it enjoyable to come to Montreal.
Oh, for sure. No, I've been there. I've been there once actually, and I love my time there. So I'm excited to be back. I
So,
had the best bagel I've ever had in my life there, so I got to go back for that.
so I know you were a big Ozzy fan, Ozzy Osbourne. Uh,
Yes,
how did his passing affect you? Because that was kind of part of your influences way back when you were a child or a kid.
for sure. I mean, obviously, losing an influence always hurts, but I think I watch some of his kind of final performances and stuff, and I think I find it inspirational, and to be performing right till the end. And so I certainly watch that, hoping that can be me one day. I'm gonna pull up on that stage in a wheelchair. You're gonna have to wheel me off.
Well, it's funny. Again, we're talking about genres. I mean, obviously, Ozzy is well, you could call him pop because he was popular, but it was not the genre.
Yes, sure.
You wouldn't classify him. You wouldn't put him in with Michael Jackson and Britney Spears in the playlist. But I see that both you and Ozzy are performers that speak their truth, and they basically uh, sing about what they know. They sing about the things that they want to sing about, and in a way, they kind of go against what's maybe popular or what people think they should be doing. I find that your career has been a little bit similar in the fact that I think you have your own path. Like, I mean, just that cinematic, got it this time in the first try.
There you go.
Uh, Atmosphere is kind of, it's a little bit something they often compare you to The Weeknd and things like that. And you have your own path, and I feel that's what makes
Thank you.
it very special. I think that's why people are really responding and selling out shows as you're coming here. So I
No, for
think it's going to
sure.
be a
And
great experience.
my goal was always to be able to kind of carve my own lane. And so I'm glad that it sounds like I've done that because that was always my goal.
What's the future of Chris Gray? What's the next?
Oh, what's next? I mean, I gotta go through this tour. I'm excited to. Most of the cities on this tour I've never performed in. I'm excited to see Europe, and perform for people all over the world. Perform this album. Excited for everyone to hear this album. And I think it's a real. I think it's a real evolution for me. But I've tried not to lose uh, what makes me me and making the album. So it's always a balance of evolving while also kind of staying true to your past. So I've tried to strike that balance on this album, and I'm very happy with it. So beyond that, I haven't even thought that far. I'm just thinking about this tour and everyone hearing this album. That's where my head's at.
Do you create while on tour, or are you really focused on the performance and the creating new songs doesn't really appear on your radar?
Well, I think this tour might be a little different. It's the longest tour I've ever done, so I've only toured for like 2 weeks at a time. I'm gonna be on the road for about 6 weeks, so a lot more time on my hands. And this is our first bus tour, so completely different experience when you got the bus. On the van tours, you're waking up at 6 a.m. You're all cramming on the bus on the van and going straight to the venue. But we get a little more time in each city to explore and to also make stuff. So I expect I'm going to be making some music on the bus.
Well, Chris Gray, the Paradise Lost Tour. If you haven't got your ticket, it might be too late, but find a way.
There might be a few left, or maybe on resale you can still get some.
Yeah, so make it. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be a epic tour. It's also probably going to be the last time you play a venue of that size. The next time is going to be definitely larger, especially when you've sold out. That's the clear sign that's the last time you'll see him at the venue. So TD Studio is going to be the last time. It'll probably be MTELUS next or something a little bit bigger. So thank you so much, Chris, for being here
Thank
with us
you.
today. We look forward to seeing you and enjoy that tour.
Will do. Thank you.